down with OTC? Down with OTC. OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Down with OTC.
Boom. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Jeff
and Chip.
On Jeff and Chip on the chain live, man. We're on the chain. We are live. I'm back at the OTC studio and yeah, burning the midnight oil, as they say, Jeff. But we got a lot to talk about. Again, I hope we get the most of it. We're going to talk some Ripple stuff. Brad Garlinghouse put some tweets out. We're going to dive into a couple of those. What else we got? We got some Bitcoin news.
That's right, we do. And Alexander Chase says, "Are you down with over the
no, man.
Scales?"
Oh no, not that OTC.
I'm not happy about it though. OTC
on the chain. That's what we're
on
down
the
with,
chain.
Though. Yeah. So let's get to it. Let's jump right into it. Okay, can we? Let's do it.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
Can we rewind that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Today we're going to be discussing, want to get into Ripple XRP, want to talk a little bit about the Fed, because there's some things that we're not going to get into the Fed entirely, but some things happen within the Fed that came out recently as it comes to regarding digital currency. Talked a little bit about it yesterday, but there's some points that I want to bring up today. SEC, paper Bitcoin wallets costing money, costing losses. And man, there's just so many other things going on. But Chip, I wanted to bring one thing up, like straight out of the gate, like just throw it straight out there.
Do it.
And Let me see if we can get it up here. Here we go.
Toss it up.
Straight up on the screen. Look at that. You can't see it. I can see it. You guys can't see it. So let's zoom in a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
I didn't really need the sound effects with that, but
I like that when you go rip, rip, rip,
so,
rip, rip.
but it all started out with this. I don't know who this is. I don't know
Click
who Jeff
over him.
Roberts
He's
is.
a writer. Mouse over his, put the cursor over his name there.
There you
There he
go.
is.
He's that's right. Executive
Decrypt.
editor of Decrypt.co. He's also a lawyer, crypto IP aficionado. DMs are open, and he's a Reuters alum. Okay, so one thing, Chip, didn't really seem to sit too well with you.
No,
What
I didn't
was
like
it?
it. Well,
What was
well, if you look at his tweet right there, he could scroll up a little bit there. He's like, Coinbase has modest crypto treasury counted separately from cash equivalent. So he lists them: 130 million in Bitcoin, 49 million USDC stable coins, 24 million in ETH, and then 34 in other, i.e. shit coins. Not cool, man. Not cool. So I had to come in here with shit coins. I suppose you would enjoy a perfect world where there were 2 or 3 stocks trading, like Apple, Google, maybe Amazon. If we apply your same logic, the rest would be shit stocks, right? So go beyond tribalism. It's all-inclusive digital asset ecosystem. I laid the hammer down, and you know what? He moved on. I couldn't even troll him. I thought it was a pretty epic troll, but no, he just was like, I'm an attorney.
Man,
I'm an attorney and I'm an executive director. I don't need that.
Don't need that. Don't need to respond. I'm going to stick with the other coins. All the other, how many thousands of coins now? And you've got Bitcoin. Come on. I mean, you got to give Bitcoin some kudos, but come on. I mean, to keep that moniker going of the shit coin, man, it's already too much, man. It's too much.
It's too much. And it's like these maxis, it's like, I mean, it's such tribal. It's like, hey, got it. If you don't like it, that's cool. But I don't even like the word altcoin, right? Because altcoin implies, how about a digital asset? Because we buy into it with the whole altcoin. We say altcoin because it's an alternative coin. In other words, it's not Bitcoin. That's what altcoin means, because they're all digital assets. And I don't like that. Like altcoin season, Bitcoin season. It's altcoin season. How about it's digital asset season? They're up, they're down. It's cyclical. It's how it works, right, Jeff?
That's right.
Or am I going wrong here?
You're not.
Speaking of
100% spot on.
I want to jump right into Brad Garlinghouse. Let's throw 2 tweets up. What do you got?
Before you do that, just one thing. Well, you ready?
Come on, man, Berserker.
Berserker's in here. What's up, Berserker? So let's jump into this right here. Look at this. Brad Garlinghouse. So this was put out, TechCrunch. Coinbase files to go public in a key listing for the cryptocurrency category. And BG, otherwise known as Brad Garlinghouse, said a big step for Coinbase and a giant leap for the industry. Congrats.
Oh, Coinbase.
Who's congratulating Coinbase, which is kind of cool. I guess you have to.
Cool.
And he was like under his breath, but thanks for delisting us, guys. I really appreciate that. Yeah, under his breath,
So I went on. I'm like, I'm all fired up, man. I've been waiting on the sidelines. I'm waiting for a coin to list. I'm like, come on, when is it going to be? When can we start buying into this thing? But not quite yet. They're doing a direct listing.
Yeah, direct listing is phenomenal. Direct listing is phenomenal. So then I wanted to get off to this other one, and Okay, I'm gonna do a little rant here, Jeff. But let's do this right here. So BG, Brad Garlinghouse, Energy Web tweets out, recent chatter about the BTC, the Bitcoin energy use, misses the point. Like most other industries in the world, crypto is not 100% renewable. But we can get it there fast, and in the process boost global demand for renewables by hundreds of terawatt hours. Join us, right? And Brad Garlinghouse chimes in and says, the Biden administration's priorities are clear. They talk about climate change every day. Instead of arguing about exactly how much energy mining uses, let's focus on making this industry the leader in sustainability. Props to Energy Web and others who are building solutions. Jeff, you have anything to say off the top there on that one? Okay, so
Man,
if the
it's probably better left unsaid.
yeah, the priorities are clear. Seriously, yeah, the priorities ought to be getting people their promised $2,000 checks, which I heard it's $20 at this point.
Otherwise, it was 3,000, and then it was 2,000, and now it's 1,400.
Now
it just
it's
keeps
600
down and down. And down.
But don't worry, it's cool. It's cool. We got to worry about the
$20.
climate change. We're going to figure that whole thing out. So I was like, you know what? They're always going and harping on that whole thing.
Man, you know what, man? The climate changed today. It was hotter today than it was yesterday.
There you go.
Climate changed from last week. You know why? Because last week was a little chilly. And there was a ton of snow that delayed 2 of my packages. There was so much snow.
There's so much going on.
And I
with
had 2 packages lost by FedEx. Just lost.
So Jeff, I thought it'd be a good time to bring up. We had a really good comment. I wanted you to take this one, fill this one before Andrew
Handelsman. What is up? All
$2 Canadian dollars.
Ontario.
It's awesome. Tecumseh. I thought that was Tecumseh was also in the U.S. as well. Thank you for that, Andrew. Appreciate that. But let's talk about that comment having to do with a particular J, a J somebody. And that's not the first name, that's the name, Jay. So let's jump into that because I think that's key. You know, we wanted to talk about this the other day, but, you know, as things would go, sometimes that happens. And David Schmall says, spring is coming.
Spring is in the air.
You want to read that comment in the keep there?
What Jay are we talking about?
We're talking about the one and only Jay. His name is Jay Clayton.
Oh, Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton.
Paul left a message for us. He actually shot us an email, I think.
That was really nice. Yeah. So we had Paul, the UK XRP investor. He brought up a really good point that I thought would be interesting to kind of workshop and talk a little bit about as well. He said, "Are you aware that Jay Clayton has joined the board of Apollo Investments, which also owns Apollo Fintech, that has a competing coin with XRP. Please check it out, as I'm sure you can see the possible conflict of interest. This all stinks as far as I'm concerned." So I wrote back and said, great point. We need to dig into it a little more. I'm going to add it as a topic of tonight. And Chip, you know, the trend always seems to be in the U.S. for those high profile politicians or high profile appointed individuals like Clayton, that when they leave politics, they always end up in some sort of a lobbying group or high profile, high paid position with some sort of financial something, you know, tied to it. But it does make you think, right? One Chip, you know, I look at it, Apollo gains because in profile, because they have a high profile person that they just hired.
Right.
And the person they hired, not saying that this is what's happened with Clayton or not, but they may or may not be getting some payback for what they may or may not have done while they were serving.
May or may not. I like the way you put that. It's like Bruno H is all over, did a little digging today.
I don't know, but it always seems to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that happens. It's like, well, there he is. So there's from a couple days ago, joins as a lead independent director. He's independent director, appointed in the latest. So it is kind of a weird thing because if you think about Apollo, it basically, I wouldn't call, I guess it's sort of a competitor, right? I guess you could maybe say, I want to say a competitor, but a very similar type of vision. But weird, like Apollo didn't get caught up in any weird stuff, at least while Jay Clayton was or was not at the helm, or did not do anything, right? So you kind of wonder about that a little bit. So
may
there's
or may not, or did or did not.
Did or did not, I cannot acknowledge or deny. But you look at some of the stuff that they do, you know, their commercial products, their Apple Bank Network, the Apollo National Currency System. You know, what do we have here? Currency, bank, payments, right? The whole thing. And all of a sudden, he just like pops over there. Now, the funny part about this is, Jeff.
Now, David D has a point. I was going to bring this up.
Put it on there.
This is kind of my final point to everything. But David D got to me, got to it before I got to it. I'm gonna put it right up here because Jay Clayton was hired by Apollo Management, and David D says, I believe they're two different organizations. Apollo Management is huge.
Okay.
Apollo Token is sketchy.
That's it. I was like,
sure they're related.
Okay. Apollo
and that
Management.
was kind of what I was going to dig into as well, because there's, some
Because I would have been like, that is a
additional,
really sketchy token.
yeah, no. So my end to that would be whether or not there is some relation. And as I was digging through it, so I'm glad David D brought it up, but there
That's
are
private equity,
many Apollos out there. So there's different things going on. Apollo Management is a financial investment advisory company when you pull them up. But my comments still stand, but there's a direct separation from Apollo FinTech, which to me, I looked, I couldn't see any relationship between Apollo and Apollo FinTech. Apollo FinTech, though, is, as I looked at it, could be sketchy, might not be sketchy, but is interesting in terms of the direction they're going in, because of some of the things they're getting into the payment space. So I guess that was, I wanted to kind of clarify some more of that within it. But if you look at Apollo Investment, Apollo Management,
it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why would he be going to a really, I don't even say a second, tertiary, just a really low crypto? It didn't make any sense. It makes sense that it's a global management system. Okay, I see NS.
Yeah, but when you look at Apollo Management, I mean, it's a massive company, high profile.
Oh yeah.
They're bringing in a high profile individual, not taking anything away from anybody, but you just look at look a little bit further. I don't know. I always like looking to see, could there be, you brought something up the other day with Janet Yellen coming from the Treasury, then or from the Fed, and now, as the Treasury Secretary. And you look at these relationships, and they kind of move from one place to the next. Where is their allegiance? What do they bring with them? What do they leave behind? What are, some of the points with all of this? And as I was kind of researching all of this, something else kind of fell into my lap as I was looking at it, and kind of allowed me to follow along the same theme that we're kind of narrating here. And this is it right here. Let me pull this up. So there's a company called Settle, SETL, hires former Swift and Ripple exec Marjan Delatine. Now, again, I'm not saying, you can't move from company to company, but here's someone that worked for Swift, was working on the GPI project, moved over to Ripple, worked with Ripple for 3.5 years as global head of banking. And she was with Swift for 10 years, and she was in charge of commercializing Target 2 securities and Swift GPI. So you start seeing crossover similarities. Now, she was hired by Settle. And when you get into Settle, for some reason, I don't have the website up, but they're also getting into the cross-border payment space.
I have it.
Right, there you go. So interesting project. But it says here that she'll be instrumental in realizing, this is the CEO saying this, our ambition to deliver innovative solutions to payment providers to empower them with the right applications to manage instant payments, cross-border liquidity, settlement, and compliance requirements. Now, you look at this, this is kind of, you see, I guess you see a lot of this in the corporate world where people kind of move from company to company. They're bringing maybe some of what they worked on at the previous company to the new company. Again, I'm not taking anyone's, job security and advancement and opportunity away, but I'm just saying all of these little things, you always bring something with you from behind. And here it's not just work experience. You're talking about massive, major project experience that are game changing, that are all competing with each other. Swift GPI, RippleNet, and now Settle.
Well, it's a great name. I mean, Settle, if you're going to settle the actual, whatever it is, but 30,000 transactions a second across 100 million different accounts. I still don't know. It says it does with speed and scale, but I don't know what that speed and scale is. And
but she's a high profile so far in terms of where she's been going to this project. It's something we need to look into more. We need to follow a little bit more. but you see these, these high profile people move around. And I just think, they can't lose an allegiance. When you gain a new allegiance, you move on, but you're bringing something with you. You're bringing some of that proprietary information with you, whatever it may be or may not be. What do you think?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. It depends, I mean, a lot of people have gotten in trouble with that. There's been, when a company has been acquired, like Uber ran into some problems with that. Google ran into some issues with that, with the self-driving cars. They hire somebody from somewhere else, they acquire them, then they bring over like trade secrets. If you're in the know, but at the position she had, I don't necessarily see. I mean, she knows what she does know is the marketing. She knows the ins and outs about the way they're looking at products, the way they're going to go out there and market a product. Core ideas and stuff like that. So she came from Swift, went to Ripple, and now she's going to Settle. And so there is a little bit of that. There might be a little bit of that, but I don't think she has the inner workings. But certainly coming from Swift to Ripple, she knows the payment space, right? And she certainly knows what differentiators there are between, well, for example, Settle, where we could do 30,000 transactions over 100 million accounts, and then there's Swift, and you can wait 6 days, right, 5 days.
Right.
And then there's Ripple. And, oh, yeah, they have an SEC lawsuit against them, and, oh, yeah, they have specific software. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. And I really don't know that much about Settle. I'd like to hear from the chat if you guys know any like specific things.
Here's a comment right here. Food in the cereal.
Yeah, there's no Settle token.
There's no Settle token. It's proprietary, internal, like JPM. It'll lack liquidity beyond what the company itself can do to power global token to help liquidity. So I believe, that's interesting.
And when they talk about settlement, what is the actual settlement? It's like, we do things fast. Well, compared to Swift or compared to Ripple? Like Ripple has an infrastructure and can move stuff with on-demand liquidity 3-4 seconds. So, I mean, that's one of the things they tout a lot of stuff on their site, but I can't even find how quick it works, and it's like, it says their solutions under market infrastructure, they've got markets, they've got fund distribution, onboard and KYC, CBDCs, a framework to enable cash-like transactions over the internet. It's all great stuff, but I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more deep dive on that. Like, what does that really look like? But, if you're like Settle, they're based out of London, it looks like, and you're going to do some sort of a central bank digital currency, online money, blah, blah, blah. It looks like they have some kind of a framework. They can process the payment, how it works. I don't see any keywords like interoperability. I don't see any sort of settlement things or liquidity. So that's interesting.
Yep, exactly. I mean, as you start digging in, though, you start finding that there's a ton of companies that are in the payment space. Obviously, PayPal, Square, Circle, Payoneer is another one. Payoneer has been making some huge inroads recently with some big companies looking at freelancers, service providers, e-commerce, digital marketing, and beyond. It's really impressive. This is a little bit outside of blockchain, though, but the payment space is, just seems to be heating up. I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere I look, Payoneer just recently filed, is doing a direct listing. Actually, they're going with a SPAC listing, an SPAC listing with, I know the stock sign is FTOC, and they're going with that. They got all of the small things, but all the document contractual stuff is being finalized right now, and they're going to be listed pretty well. They're listed now with the FTOC, but it's amazing to me. The more I look, there's so many, and that's how you know that as we're moving into this new space, what's going to happen to all these companies, like the Payoneers, they're obviously going to have to adjust their payment structure, instead of running on whatever they're running on, to start running on a RippleNet or a Stellar or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit distracted by some of the comments here, and I kind of got off reading a little bit of their website there because it was sort of an interesting thing. I kind of got off a little bit into the weeds there, Jeff. So I don't have a comment. I have no comment.
Well, let's see what other people they can put their comment up there, and we can we'll move on to the next thing. Let's see here, but I do want to throw this up here. So this is from KTI with a super sticker. Appreciate your support.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Over here it says, do you drink Stella in Belgium? Nice. Yeah. So appreciate the support. That's awesome. Very, very
Stella.
cool.
I am freezing again, man. This whole thing with the camera.
Oh yeah,
and the
you're
setup
frozen
here
up there.
It's driving me nuts, man. It really is.
I don't get it. I don't know why you're freezing up.
I don't know either.
Speed up.
No, it's the weirdest thing. It's like I keep freezing. I don't understand it. I've never had the problem, but they must be doing something with this. I
think they're working on the back end somewhere.
Yeah.
So here's David D says the terrible timing of the lawsuit has prevented many XRP investors in anticipating in the recent bull run. Additionally, I'm disappointed with many XRP YouTubers acting like Ripple has never had a bad day.
Well, it's not a. I don't think. Well, I don't. They haven't had a bad day. They haven't had a bad day at all. No, I mean it's like it's. As a matter of fact, they're the only company out there that's actually been ringing the bell. I mean, like we read a story not too long ago that said that they actually had the most, the highest lobbying. Right? What were they lobbying for? Regulations. They were lobbying for some kind of a regulatory clarity. They weren't lobbying like just for fun. So they put a lot of time, effort, and money into it. Yeah, they've had missteps when it comes to products, right? So, with the ODL rollout, then scaling that back, then MoneyGram. But when you're a company, you have to try stuff. And, the old adage of a startup, been in a couple of them, the best thing they always tell you is to fail and fail fast. You don't want to fail over a period of time. And we've seen Ripple make some missteps. Yeah, that's it. But this SEC thing, in my opinion, it's a very weak case. The SEC is going to absolutely not going to fare well, especially since there was an exchange, Coinbase or other exchanges, inquiring to the SEC, especially when Ripple went to the SEC and said, we'd like to invest in MoneyGram, 9%. Oh, yeah, and by the way, it's going to be in the form of a digital token called XRP. They're like, all right. So they went to them and they asked them, every time they would ask, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We had FinCEN, who had fined them, and they're asking FinCEN, what do we do? They're doing annual audits with them. So it's not that they haven't had a bad day, but they're going to emerge victorious. Now, are they losing a little ground? Are they losing a little time? Yeah, but they're still signing up partners. And the fact is, 90% of the business is outside the U.S. So, I mean, the U.S. is going to be the big loser on all this. XRP bag holders are not going to be the ones that are going to be at fault, Jeff. Sorry, I don't had to go off on that a little bit. Yeah, they had a couple missteps with regard to product, and that happens often, but no, wasn't their fault here. I did want to get into Stellar because Stellar's been making some moves lately, Jeff. Stella. It's really cool to see what Stella. No, not Stella. Stella. Oh, I love Stella beer, by the way. That's one of my favorite beers of all time. But I wanted to put this up right here. Can I put it up? Will I freeze? We shall see. Let's try it. Let's try it, Jeff.
Go for it.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Go for the freeze.
There we go. So Stellar announced this a couple hours ago. Nice. And this Stellar USDC will soon be natively integrated into SendWire's API, allowing customers to make payments and move money between the world's leading digital dollar stablecoin and local fiat currencies. And so I went over here to their release here, and it talks a little bit about it. It says it'll focus on payment use cases such as remittances. Where have we heard that before, Jeff? And disbursements. But Wyre, a crypto infrastructure and banking as a service provider, it's more interested in developing tools to help those businesses build on Stellar. So they're an organization that will, they're more like a B2B that'll help businesses get involved more or less on building that payment rail or whatever. And with an API that supports more than 25 use cases, takes partners less than 6 hours to integrate with, Wyre enables users worldwide to make payments through its partners' apps. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's good to see Stellar kind of coming up. They were kind of dormant for a while, but now you start to see them making a lot of moves. They've actually been, this one looks very promising, the way it kind of works. Wyre attracts customers that usually fall into two categories, either a crypto business that needs a fiat rail or more traditional payment businesses that are opening to leveraging crypto. The need for fiat rails means that becoming a USD anchor on Stellar is a no-brainer for Wyre. As an anchor, Wyre will be able to expand its business internationally and plans to build corridors between the USDC and a different local currency, starting with the Mexican peso. So it sounds like they're starting to inch into a little bit of the territory that MoneyGram. Remember, they were sending, I think, somewhere between 10 and 20% of all the remittances going into Mexico.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. As this all first started out, go back a couple years and progress. At least I always looked at Stellar and their project more focused and geared up towards the retail, whereas Ripple and XRP, really geared up and focused mostly in the financial institution space and the banking space. We're starting to see some potential changes, maybe a little bit coming from the Stellar Foundation. But what's interesting about it, though, they're not talking about movement of money, in terms of large, massive sums to financial institutions. They're still focused on retail oriented expenditures. So they're talking about moving to a USDC. They're talking about streamlining a digital currency, like with the Ukraine trying to build on the Stellar Foundation platform. It's still more of a retail oriented project.
But that's more or less what they are, though, Jeff. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I do like the setup with Wyre. The fact is, they got this. It's a little more difficult to build all this infrastructure, and that's one of the reasons you use APIs, because you basically follow the commands they have, and like they said, in 6 hours you're hooked up and you're ready to go. And so you can see some of the partners are talking about there. So you can accept payments, you can you get your crypto wallet, crypto and effects, accounting, onboarding, and this is mainly for if you're a fintech company, you want to be able to incorporate these APIs, and all of a sudden now you can offer this as a product. That's really what its main beneficial is. And if you look at the documentation, any programmer would just come in here and there's all your docs right there, right? So your auth tokens, creating your basic, API key, all that kind of stuff. So It's interesting. Cool. It's cool. Boom! All of a sudden you get that API and you're in like Flynn, Jeff.
So Chip, here's a one as a side note. Imagine you're on your exchange and you had an opportunity to buy Bitcoin all of a sudden at an 88% discount. How fired up would you be?
Hell yeah, I'd be fired up.
Hell yeah, we'd be fired up because you're
getting it for money. Take my money. Right. But Jeff, I feel like there's going to be a catch here.
There's always a catch. So the crypto exchange that somehow was selling Bitcoin at an 88% discount is now asking that their customers return the Bitcoin after they sold.
I knew it.
So the largest crypto exchange in Southeast Asia, Philippines-based PDAX, experienced a technical failure that led to Bitcoin trading at $6,000, which was an 88% discount. Following the incident, they asked their customers to return their Bitcoins, threatening legal action.
How did that go, Jeff?
According to the exchange's CEO, the system error was not due to a hack, but a technical glitch caused by a massive surge in trading activity. Now, here's the question. So here's an exchange. They have there's a surge in trading activity. There's a glitch in their software. They accidentally sell Bitcoin for $6,000. Now, if the exchange was selling it directly, that's one case. If the exchange was allowing other trades, to take place, and I don't know if this was a P2P. I don't think this is a P2P platform. So somehow the exchange is on the hook, because I think back to, let's say, a platform with margin accounts, right? And you don't get a chance because of technical irregularities. You don't get a chance on margin to top up your account, and you get liquidated. Now, some of these companies out there basically said, sorry, we notified you, you had an opportunity, you can liquidate, or you could have topped up your margin. Sorry about that. There was a technical glitch or wasn't, but we're not returning your money. Does that type of an argument from the exchange owner that doesn't want to return the money parallel an argument here where they're trying to get back their money? What are your thoughts?
Sounds like they're crossing a little bit of a line there. I mean, I don't know what standing they have. You know, it's always a glitch. Yeah, a glitch. We had so much. Now, it sounds to me like there could be some programming errors, some other things like glitches and bugs like that. Yeah, we've seen that happen on exchange where, you know, people have screenshotted at XRP. It's like, it's $12,000 or something like that, you know, but usually you have some sort of safeguards in place. That's what I'm saying. Usually when you're doing, you know, when you're testing this stuff in sort of a sandbox and a dev environment, you test against it. You want to make sure that if you get a surge, yeah, you can deal with that, right? Dog face lion pony soldier. Yeah, that's right. Turns out we know who the dog face lion pony soldier is, right?
Yeah.
But it's Jay Clayton.
Yeah, that's right. So check this out. So here's what they did. They did something to what Robinhood did. Remember, not that long ago, Robinhood was actually locking people out of their accounts, only allowing them to sell. They wouldn't let them trade certain assets. Dogecoin was one of them. But they also weren't allowing people to buy GameStop and a few others like AMC and a few other stocks. So these guys, PDAX, locked their customers' accounts.
That's dirty wrong because they're negligent. It was their mistake. It was their problem. And yeah, this is not going to end well. Let's face it. You know, again, you know, it's like you're holding somebody hostage at you because you made a mistake. I'm sorry. It's like they're gonna have to eat this one. And you say, like, if there's one honest person, they go like, okay, I'll give you my Bitcoin back. What do I get? Thank you. Okay, I'm keeping it. You know, it's like, so what? Somebody took advantage of a particular market, you know, issue or a bug. But again, how much was it again? How much Bitcoin got out of there?
I don't know how much. Doesn't say exactly how much. It just says that individuals were able to buy for 6,000, and then after
move it off the exchange.
Now right. So I don't know if people kept it on the exchange at that point, but 24 hours later, they sent a demand letter and a text message. It says here from one user requesting to transfer back to BTC, or they may be compelled to take legal action against the traders. They believed, this one trader said he believed his purchase was well within his rights without violating any laws or regulations of the trading platform. To me, this is going to court. This is over in the Philippines. I don't know the laws at all of what goes on in the Philippines, but it's going to be an interesting one to follow because it's in the digital asset crypto space. Flash crashes upset and impact retail investors when they're carrying margin, just like a glitch, something like this impacts the exchange. If you're not going to support the retail investor when they lose money, then why would you expect the retail investor to support you when you lose money?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a big thing. I like Harmony One. There he goes, Harmony One. I don't know, Jeff. But I do want to get back to one other story about XLM because, again, they're on kind of a little bit of a tear here. I got to give them some credit. And this is only going to add to the ecosystem here, which is, here's a tweet by Flare. Flare is going to be integrating XLM as an F asset, bringing XLM to scalable smart contracts and a trustless gateway to Stellar. Decentralization is far too important for maximalism. Ecosystems must be united. And this is it. So what we're seeing happening with Flare is, you know, I mean, they're integrating Doge. I mean, XRP obviously was the first one, then Litecoin. We're talking about Bitcoin. What this is going to allow in the DeFi space, basically you're talking about bringing it all over to the Flare, right? So I don't see how they're not going to, you know, hashtag unlocking value. This is actually just a massive opportunity. And it's like, you know, anybody would be like, you know, there's a part of me that says, gosh, I wish it was just something for XRP because it would have brought so much attention on XRP. But in the grander scheme of things, if you're trying to build something bigger than just, a small little hut. You want to build a global thing. Well, the same way you can't have tribalism run a coin or a particular token, you don't want to have it there. Now, I don't know how far it'll scale out, right? Maybe the top 10, top 15, top 20. I don't think they're going to try to integrate every single coin. They don't have to. But I like the thinking here, and that's why I think Flare is just going to be just beyond massive. It is going to be the lion or the tiger in the DeFi space, and all of us have got to be very proud about that, especially if you were part of that Spark token drop, Jeff. It's pretty badass, right? Oh, here we go.
I think
Here we
so,
go.
man. So on this note, Putin the cereal over here is asking for a friend, not asking for himself.
No.
Since XLM is a fork, essentially, of XRP, does that make XLM a security of Ripple? Interesting.
Come on, man.
And then if that's the case, how many others are, what about your Spark token? Could that be a security? Because basically it was an airdrop to XRP holders.
Well, this is, again,
Where does it end? Where does it end?
Well, Jeff, but this is one of the reasons that I believe that, they didn't go after Jeb. He was one of the original, big ballers inside of Ripple. He was there at the beginning, came out of Mt. Gox. Here's the thing, whatever it was in the past, I don't believe the SEC really believes that Ripple, the token right now with lots of different use cases, XLM, a lot of these coins are really going to be securities. Now, they've got to go into court and prove that there was some type of an investment contract, and if it hits the 4 prongs of the Howey test, I think they're going to have a difficult time. And I just love the attorneys for Ripple, man. When they just laid that bombshell in that hearing, in the pretrial hearing, and said, yeah, well, it turns out we kind of got wind of. I'm just curious, how did they get wind of that? That there was a pretty sizable exchange. We're surmising that it may be, Coinbase. But there were probably exchanges along the way that said, hey, we're thinking about this, and what do you think? And they didn't say anything. So this is where I think they're going to get in trouble. I think, the first rule of holes, I think the SEC has violated. The first rule of holes states if you're in one, stop digging. And they just keep digging and making it worse for themselves.
Well, it depends if they're looking for water.
True. Or if they're trying, when you're a kid, you try to go through and you go if I dig right here, where will I come out on the other side? Yeah, China or wherever it would be, on the other side. Or you come up under the ocean, and that's going to be a bummer.
That would
you get
really
flushed
suck.
right out the other side. Well, you got to go through
digging, you get your tunnel.
The magma and the core and all that weird stuff. You got to get through all that. So
if you've ever played Minecraft, you kind of have to go through that transition. You kind of dig through the dirt, and then you go through the rock, and eventually you get down to the magma.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yes, that's right, Jeff.
Hey, so check this out. Here's another one. Imagine you're holding a Bitcoin paper wallet. Now,
okay.
would you hold a Bitcoin paper wallet?
Personally, I would not. But you're going to tell me a story now that probably the people out there were doing that.
Apparently, there are people that are holding Bitcoin paper wallets, and unfortunately, somehow there's a backdoor to their process, and millions went missing.
How did that happen?
A total millions in value. About 124 Bitcoin were swept away from the wallets that were generated by the website. Just gone, just like that.
Oops.
So it says here, Bitcoin paper wallet appears to feature a backdoor in its code that shares private keys for its paper wallets with anyone who has access to the website's back end.
Oh, my God. Please, Jeff, tell me it's not so. That's horrible news.
It is.
Can you imagine how crushed you would be?
Oh, my God. It's horrible. I didn't even know that paper wallets was still a thing. Apparently it is. It says here, blockchain analysis shows these funds flowing to Binance and Poloniex exchanges. The unfortunate scenario is a reminder that in most cases, web-based Bitcoin wallet generators should be avoided in favor of vetted Bitcoin wallet software, hardware, and I would also put up there certain exchanges.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But, I remember one time on the Today Show, they were saying it's Bitcoin and it's new and it's interesting. And they were like showing it. They were showing it on camera. They had the barcode and they were just like doing like this. And somebody took their phone and boom, snatched that coin. It was and I'm like, gosh. And then like they realized that that coin had moved because they had shown it on TV and somebody was smart enough. There's two comments I like to get to, Jeff. First of all, Morton Hell, he says, Brian Brooks was the chief legal officer of Coinbase when XRP was listed. Imagine Ripple's legal team calling him to testify. How fun would that be? Oh, that is a really good observation. Also, too, I wanted to thank New Jack Johnson. He left a really nice comment on one of our videos. He says, what about the smart contract coins popping from everywhere? They all share the same use case. And when it comes to XRP, some people have a twisted mind. Big BS. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what am I going to say on that one, Jeff? You got anything on that one?
There are a lot of them all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, right? It's like, oh, we got a smart contract for this. This is a smart contract.
Well, you know why? Because it's the .com. It's the, it's the blockchain. It's now the smart contract. That Ice-T company is they've now been removed from NASDAQ because of, trying to take on the moniker blockchain Ice-T. And they were going to get into blockchain after that. They never did. And now they suffer the consequence because now they've lost their stock listing. Now you've got so many companies, to his point, coming out and smart contract. Yes, Ethereum primary behind the smart contracts. There are others that thought they could do it better. Flare Network coming out with their smart contract ideas. The DeFi we're starting to see, but yeah, I just believe we're going to see an overindulgence, just like we saw with DeFi. It was like DeFi. And I just think the dust is going to settle soon, and all these companies are going to kind of fall into obscurity, and you're going to be left with the top dogs. That's what I think.
That's exactly right. Is XRP, Jeff, heading to a new all-time high? Thoughts?
Let me look at CoinGecko.
Jeff's doing a little bit of market research first before he answers that. He wants to make sure that it didn't suddenly go to the all-time high when we weren't paying attention.
It's down 19% in the past 7 days at 42 cents. So if it's going to hit an all-time high of today,
well, I don't think today. I don't think that was the thing. I just said, is it heading towards a new all-time high? Like, let's just say 2021. Do you think it's going to surpass the 384? Well, of course.
The 384. Eventually, I don't know when. I believe that this whole market is moving and trending in the right direction. Personally, I mean, my opinion, as I've watched, all of these assets moving, XRP has fallen into the 7th spot, mainly because of there was some resistance over the SEC case. I still believe that had the SEC case not been dropped December 22nd, XRP would have trended well above $1 with the entire market because it was coupled with Bitcoin. So where Bitcoin goes, all the other assets go. Now, we saw Bitcoin pull back mainly because Elon Musk said, oh, yeah, I believe it's overpriced. Oh, and then Janet Yellen comes out, bam, keeps jabbing at it, talking about using Bitcoin for nefarious purposes. Bam. And so, I think, it's crazy to me. Does it get to an all-time high? When it does, I don't know when. Bitcoin has been surprising everyone. Bitcoin was sitting there at 57, 58,000, about to touch 60, and now it's fallen back. I mean, the whole market has drawn back to 46. Everything's in the red right now. I don't know. We're in it, right? Cardano hit $1.14 today. Now it's sitting at $1.06. So I never thought I would ever see Binance Coin closing in on $300 like we did, or sitting at $223 right now. I never thought I would see that day. I never thought I would see Tether at 97 cents. Just throwing that one in there.
That was a good one, Jeff. That was a good one. So there is some really good news around XRP. We got a creative new card. So wanted to put this up here. We have none other than Greg Kidd. You know him from Global Idea. You also know him as an early Ripple founder, and I think he walked away with 2 billion XRP if not mistaken. He's from Global ID. And I don't know if you guys have set a Global ID up. I know Jeff and I have. But they're coming out with this brand new card. It's the XRP card. It's a debit card with up to 5% cash back in XRP. Now, I love the idea of this because a lot of credit cards or any type of cards where you spend money, you get points, right? And points are like, like for Amex, like we have an Amex card, so it's great. You just get all these points. You can buy stuff and vacation stuff, whatever. You can use the points on Amazon. You hook your card up there. Now your points are available to use. Now, what's really interesting about this is, first of all, the first 1,000 people who join the wait list will be able to earn up to 5% back in XRP rewards on the first $10,000 spent at over 10.7 million merchants supported by MasterCard. So that's what it is. It's like it's based on MasterCard. It's not based on Visa. It's like MasterCard pops up and then Visa pops up. This is really cool because then the next batch of 2,000 signups will earn 4%, right? So what they're trying to do is get in early, get in now. You go ahead and you join the wait list. Here's what the card looks like. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Get up to 5% cash back. Talks of the thing here, and then it'll probably continue to drop. Then 2% thereafter. So after that, you get 2%. Not a bad thing, right? So for every $1,000 you normally spend, you get $20 in XRP. It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, that my dad used to say.
How are they doing this? I thought XRP was a security.
It turns out, Jeff, it doesn't matter if you're Global ID, because maybe I don't even know where this outfit is, but I love this whole idea here. It's more than a card. Why? Because you can receive, hodl,
you have
and
to
convert
spend your XRP, or are you getting your payback in XRP?
I think it's a debit card. I believe it's debit. Like you use it as a regular debit card.
Like
but I
regular
could be wrong,
fiat
Jeff.
debit?
Yeah, it says debit card, but I don't know if you're debiting your XRP. Why would you spend your XRP?
You don't want to spend your XRP now. Unless you're James Rule and you're getting paid in XRP. Whole different story.
Well, here's the funny thing. Here's the wait list, right? So you have 7,664 of 10,000 right now. How does the cashback work? So
I'll wait. 179 Kevin says that he's 6,777 on the list.
Okay, so he just signed up. Good. He's signed the wait list. You can get on there. You can learn a little bit more about it. Anyway, it's innovative in a sense that, you spend like you normally would spend, and then you get back. I mean, obviously they're doing the promotion, so it sounds great. If you do 10,000 in the first 3 months, you're going to get 5% back. But then it goes, the next batch is going to be 4, and then thereafter it's 2. But if you spend $2,000 like you normally would, it's $40. Again, it's better than. It's, by the way, it's powered by Uphold. Did you know that?
Oh, interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Trade more than 100 national and digital currencies. So I think it works through the Uphold. It's pretty interesting. I just like the thinking. It's like, okay, so what kind of points do you want? What kind of rewards do you want? Well, I want to receive a digital asset because, then what's next? Is Amex going to say, instead of points, you're going to have the option, or any one of these big cards, because, Jeff, how those points add up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got to buy plane tickets and this and that and all kinds of cool stuff.
I love my points. So Brian's saying, how long before the market's up? I'm down 45,000 this week. Man, the market is red everywhere. I should not have opened my Fidelity account today. That was a disaster. Looking at it, but I went in there because I had to do some research on stuff, and I was hoping Coinbase was going to be listed, but I guess it's still going to take a little bit longer. But yeah, I wanted to bring this point up. This kind of blends in to some of the things we were talking about before with Janet Yellen. And this has to do with the U.S. central bank trying to explain preconditions for a digital dollar. We tried to talk about it a little bit yesterday, but it was way too complex, way too boring. So I went through this article and I picked out some key points here. Now, above and beyond everything, I believe that, some of the statements in here are a little bit inconsistent, kind of nullify some of the things that Janet Yellen was saying as it comes to digital asset and Bitcoin being used for nefarious purposes. So I went through, and it says here, my point that I made. I said, funny how they emphasize one point in their article, which nullifies Yellen's concerns. This is me. I wrote this. Concerns of crypto over fiat. This is that a CBDC gives unprecedented access to the Fed of when and how people spend their money. So Chip, I think this is something that we've emphasized so many times, that if you have a centralized digital currency, a CBDC, it's going to give whoever controls that asset untethered access to how you spend your money, what you spend your money on, how much you've spent it on, and so much more. So in here, they go on and they continue and explain how fiat banknotes do not carry transaction data and can't be linked back to individuals. So what they're saying is fiat is basically, perfect and the most ideal currency to be used by rogue agents for nefarious purposes. And the Fed seems to love the idea of being able to track your money and how you spend it. So how do they have it both ways? How does Janet Yellen come out and say, hey, by the way, Bitcoin is used for nefarious purposes, so we got to ban it or be antagonistic against it? But yet here you have the Fed talking about the Federal Reserve talking about CBDCs and highlighting fiat currency as not being able to be tracked, and you can never link it back to an individual. There's a few inconsistencies here.
There's a lot of inconsistencies, and again, I kind of expect that coming from the Fed, but they're all running scared right now. They're all like, oh gosh, Bitcoin, don't ever use Bitcoin. Yeah, we should really trust the Federal Reserve that lost $3 trillion in processing payments in a 2-hour window, or I think it was like a 1-hour window. Sure, okay. And Bitcoin has failed how many times? And how many times has XRP failed? Yeah, sure, there were a couple blocks missing at the beginning of the whole, after the Genesis block, but no, I'm not buying that argument. Anytime the government starts telling us like, well, I think you should do this, or I think you should do that, or you better be careful there, son, because things could get tricky. It's like, wait a minute. Centralized bank, no, thanks. I think we'll do our own thing. And Jeff, I wanted to talk about one little thing here, and that is our podcast. Our podcast here. Please subscribe to it. Guys, it is growing. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to it. I'll just there it is in the chat right there. But just so that this, you just can go in anywhere. You can go to like Spotify or Stitcher or Acast or any one of the ones you normally, Apple or Google, and you can simply subscribe to it. So it's not like you have to come to that little link there. It just makes it easier to get it. But whatever podcast you listen to, just type in On the Chain. You will get them all, because sometimes you'll be like, hey, I missed that episode. I don't feel like opening up YouTube. I'm in the car driving. It's audio only, and then you can take us with you. So there you go. We'll drive along with you.
Yeah, you know what else, Chip?
Tell me. Tell me, Jeff.
All these people that are in right now, we have 451 people in right now. I don't know how many people in are brand new to the channel, but if you are, there's a red subscribe button down here someplace. If you guys click it, you can subscribe to the channel. And so we highly recommend that you do. And when you do subscribe, there's a little bell notifier. If you hit the bell notification, it'll actually let you know every time we post a live video. So that's super helpful, and it helps the channel's algorithms kind of generate and allows us to bring content to more and more people. So we totally appreciate you guys. We are also planning the second, I would say annual, but the second meetup, the second On the Chain sponsored meetup, virtual meetup, will take place in March. We're going to drop the date on Sunday on the roundtable. So make sure you guys show up 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday to find out when we are going to be doing the meetup in March. The first meetup, ask Apex. Apex knows all about it. Apex Crypto right there. Apex knows all about how great and how much fun everybody had in the first meetup. So when we have more information about that, we'll be dropping that. But we will announce the date on Sunday.
Yeah, and also too, guys, I want to ask you a big favor right now. I'm going to ask you to do something right now, and I really click on that link that I just put in the chat. That is our other channel. That channel there is we drop videos, but like somebody said, you know what? They always like go into because a lot of times we do a lot of banter at the beginning, welcome people. And someone will inevitably put in the comment, content starts at 8 minutes in. Content starts at 10 minutes. Well, I'll tell you what, on the other channel, it's all we do is
short form videos.
Short form videos, like any 10, 12, 14 minutes long. That's all it is. We don't get into, hello, how are you? Have a great day. What's the weather like? What kind of bands do you like? We don't get into any of that stuff. And so if you guys look at the channel here, it needs a little bit of love. We're trying to break into 7,000 right there. There it is right there. You can see, we do stuff like this one right here. Like I do videos, Jeff and I do videos together. Ripple strikes back. They're short videos, and so what we're trying to do is build this channel up as well. These are like uploaded videos, short little blips of Chip and Jeff. Boom, 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 10, 15 minutes. We're not going to suck up a lot of your time. We'll get into something. And guys, subscribe to that channel so you can watch us tomorrow. We're going to drop a video tomorrow morning. And we'd love it if you guys would, be part of both channels. There you go. Awesome. And thank you, as always. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Thank you for the support. Fantastic audience. It goes by so fast because it's so much fun. And you guys bring a lot of great, help source the show as well, which is really awesome. So that's all I have, Jeff. I don't know.
Man, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Huddle Review. We will be streaming live on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow is Friday. Can't believe it. We won't be on Friday. We take Friday off. But we'll see you guys back on the roundtable at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's it.
That's all I've got. Appreciate everybody here, and we'll see you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.